demo day with 1,000 people in the audience. The lab show first materialize their idea and build it into the reality. So that's not just about bringing great mentors into the university. It's also about bringing students outside into the real world. We can use a capital factory, a demographic of entrepreneurs and an incredible co-working space and mentor network that's available to all students. Capital Factory is awesome. It's a beautiful place to work in such an engaging environment.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be there.
The Longhorn Startup Lab, I think, is one of the most amazing opportunities that entrepreneurs have on this campus.
It gives us a lot of opportunity to learn from other entrepreneurs.
Really being able to learn from great founders that have built amazing companies is one of the best opportunities that you could ever have.
You're so tall.
All right, everybody. You're ready to get started. Oh, you're so quiet. All right, rules haven't changed. I think I asked Isha if we're getting weekly updates for everybody, and if we're getting graded in Canvas, and she said yes. Usually, we get to the end of the semester, and someone has not done like any of their weekly updates. I was really surprised to hear that. Does that sound right to you guys? Do you feel like you're all getting the weekly updates out and you're seeing it in Canvas? Oh, you're marking it. Okay, got it. Okay, so you're not seeing it in Canvas yet. We'll get them in Canvas. Ideally, that way you can see if you're missing it, right? I don't want to get to the end of the semester and everybody's surprised. So we'll double check on that. We'll get those kind of put up there as well. But yeah, I'm glad. It sounds like you guys are doing great. So thank you. All right. First graded pitch is coming up in a few weeks. So I'm going to talk about that more today, so you know what to expect. I'm going to send an email out that'll have some additional information about it and some examples. We'll have like some example pitches you can watch. That's cool. So it's a lot easier. What did I tell you at the beginning of the semester? Easy A. One of the tricks. Practice your pitch 100 times. This is not an exaggeration. It's not an estimate. You should just count. If you practice it 100 times, I promise it'll like make probably a letter grade difference in what you do. Like that is just like the easiest no-brainer way to like just make whatever you do a lot better with just practice it. It's not gonna like not change at all. as you practice it, you can vary on it. But you have to do it a lot. So keep track, count hundreds of really long films. Make sure your pitch VCs are updated. I bet there are things that changed since you first created them. And you've got South by Southwest coming up in 2 weeks. Startup crawl. I was told by the startup crawl team that there are lots of Longhorn startup tables at the crawl. Sounds like you guys are thank you. Sounds like you guys are all signed up. There are going to be 106 startups at the startup crawl. That might be the most we've ever had. So really a lot. And so that's awesome. It's going to be really great. And so it sounds like a lot of 11 of you, which would be great. So you want to have pitch profiles ready to go. They'll probably have a link to pitch profiles as the directory for the crawl. And so we're going to be sending lots of people there. And if somebody comes up and they say, hey, I'm interested in learning more about your company, a website might tell them everything you need to know. The chances are, if they're interested more like an investor or things like that, you want to send a pitch profile. Table display, is that in play? People getting their banners? Everett? Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Alex about that, and
So they haven't gotten any calls about it yet.
yeah,
Okay, we need to get that going just because I know we can get those ordered so we can have them here for the startup call. So look for some stuff coming about that because they're going to need to respond quickly so that we can, because you're going to get a free like kind of banner that stands next to your table kind of thing. But you have to get your logo and info and stuff on it. We've talked about the startup crawl. You've all had a chance to sign up, so I think you're all good there. Okay, a couple other things. So I want to talk about the pitches coming up. Today there were a few guest mentors there were 3 that actually had to reschedule. And so I thought we were going to have a bunch, but I don't know. Robert, are you crashing? Are you just hanging out, or did I invite you to guest mentor tonight?
Oh, yeah. I'm
All right. Robert, he's done this before, so he can crash. So we all have one. But it's good because actually we didn't get one session without guest mentors at the beginning, the first class, and so it'd be good for you guys to get some time for mentors as well. And then next week, use the bathroom? There's like speakers in here. Right, I don't know. Okay, maybe if there's music in here, we'll just turn it down. No, it's just be fine. So do we have class next week? You sure? Sorry, I'm asking multiple questions. Do we have class next week? Next week's no. Okay, so we have class next week. Then the next week's the crawl. And then the next week is spring break. And even though the next week's the crawl's not on Tuesday, but it's South by Southwest. No, sorry. No, we're getting it wrong. We have class next week. Yeah, this week, okay, yeah, next week, okay. Okay, so next week we have class. That's Tuesday. That Friday is the startup call. Right. Okay. And so then the following week, it's South by Southwest. And that's why we're doing class. Is because I want you guys to go, and you do have an assignment, which is you need to go to something in South by Southwest. We're going to ask you what you went to, and you'll tell us about it, and probably actually post like a selfie. So that's your test, is go do something awesome in South by Southwest, and you're going to post it to the WhatsApp group with a selfie, and tell us about it. Obviously, if it's not going to be good, suggest other people say no. And then the following week is spring break. So you basically have 2 weeks off class. And then we come back, and is that the 25th when we pitch? Okay, okay, so again, we have one more class, then we have 2 weeks off, then you're going to come back, and it won't be a normal class like today, it will be a pitch class. So pitch class, we won't have guest mentors, but the lead mentors are still invited to come because we'd like you to help judge the pitches. And instead of it being a normal class where you do your updates, we'll just jump right into the pitches. The pitches are like every other pitch that you do at Capital Factory. It's always a 4-minute pitch. That is, in my experience, most people's attention span. I find it hard to listen to a 10-minute pitch and kind of just get really good. You're just going to lose me. And also when you do a whole bunch of them, and so it makes it all fit together. And so that, and when you get towards the Capital Factory, and we're asking you to meet somebody, we're going to tell you to give them the same thing, 4-minute pitch. If you do any kind of event on stage, it's going to be a 4-minute pitch. We just try to keep it easy for you. And that's about enough time, we think, to get the most important things across. And so we'll share with you a few videos about how to do good pitches and what to talk about. There is no one perfect way to go do it. As we've told you before, a lot of it's style, and that can change. But if you're starting from scratch, it's probably better to follow the basic playbook and then try to get. I'd say first and then get creative versus get creative and then try to make it better when you haven't followed the basics. So I'd recommend starting with basics. We'll also share with you ahead of time how you're going to be graded, and the grading is also very simple. It's much more about do you cover the basics and do the things that we asked you to do, and less of a quality of how good your business idea is. That's just not what you're being graded on. And so again, you should be able to get a good grade on the pitch if you follow the instructions, and we're going to tell you what those are things. As far as what you talk about and what to do in the pitch, typically you're going to focus on one of two things. Your pitch is typically either going to be a pitch to investors about why this is such a great business and what you invest in it, or it's going to be just focused on customers and why this is such a great product and you should buy it or use it. And you can kind of pick which one of those is most important or relevant to you. I'd say most people do an investor pitch, but not everybody's going to be looking for investors. That's okay. And even if you're not looking for investors, you might still do an investor pitch, in that you might still include that type of content, even if you don't ask for money. But again, you do get to choose. An investor pitch is still going to include a basic introduction of what is the problem and what's the product. That's going to have to be shorter, and it's going to include more information about what's the business, how do you make money, how do you why is this a big opportunity. And so we'll give you some more detailed information and some examples that you can look at. But that's kind of the basic idea. You are allowed and should have slides for the presentation. I think part of it you're graded on is that you have at least a certain number of slides. You don't need to have a lot of slides. It's not a long presentation. Some people just have 4 or 5 slides. They're just really good slides. They've got a slide up and they're speaking to it. And some other people's style is to be going through a bunch of slides fast. The time at 4 minutes is important, and you'll both get penalized if it doesn't have to be exactly 4 minutes, but if it's way under 4 minutes, you're going to get penalized, and if it's way over, you're going to get penalized. So it says, stick within a minute of that and try to not be around 4 minutes. And the way you're going to know that is because you practiced it 100 times. And you're going to time yourself when you practice it, so then you'll know how long it is. And just assume that when you're up here, you're going to talk a little faster than when you're practicing by yourself. If you practice the right way, if you practice for real, and I'll say something about practicing, but don't practice reading from a card, walking around, talking quietly to yourself. That's not a very good way to practice. That's not real. So you're not really. So you want to practice ideally standing in front of some other people. It doesn't have to be a huge group of people, but that makes it more real. Doesn't hurt to shine a bright light in your face. And actually speak it the way you're going to speak it, with pauses. Pauses are a really important part of all this. And so that people can understand you, versus you just getting up and talking really fast and saying what you're just saying and talking about 30 minutes, you don't pause, going on, and then people don't get it. So yeah, all those things are going to really help. So, would any of the mentors like to share anything from their experiences watching pitches or pitching and seeing it? Come on, Nick. Yell or come closer.
The basic
it on YouTube unlisted, so no one can find it. But then you can send that link to your mentors, to us, to other people, and be like, hey, can you give me some feedback on this pitch? And you'll get a lot more feedback than if you only do it by doing it in person in front of people, right? Like, it's good to do it in front of the person, but you can send that around. People will give you feedback. Robert?
You can practice with training. Strike up a conversation on what you do, on what you do, work on the company, and then you do your pitch. Do it in person. Do feedback on it. Right? And you just sit you don't have to say, hey, I'm about to do this pitch. As a founder, you're going to have to get very comfortable with weaving your story into any conversation. Because Lord knows that you're going to run into an airport or you're going to go.
Yeah, and that's, in particular, I'm gonna yes and out to apply particularly most to the elevator pitch, which is what we're about to practice in a minute, and you're about to all get up and give. And that's like a little bit more casual and something you can say to anybody. And this particular thing we're talking that I was just referring to is for when you're getting up on stage and giving a pitch, which we haven't done as much of yet, so it's gonna feel a little bit different. You could do that to a random stranger. Might be a little bit awkward, but
I always love the point that each slide, the whole point of each slide is to get people to want to watch the next slide, to not tune out for the next one. So this one needs to be hard hitting, and then the next one needs to be hard hitting. And if it's not, it's mostly worthless.
to make each slide really powerful. I think that's a good one. For me, I try not to make a slide something I read or that they have to read. So it's more like my cue cards. And it also helps me with not feeling like I'm reading and memorizing it. It's just, I look at the slide and I know like 2 or 3 sentences I'm supposed to say with that slide. You know, like what goes with it. And then I can just flip through the slides. And then so for me, most of my presentations is just pictures. Maybe a picture and a title. I'm not saying you have to do that, you can have other stuff on there. But just, I practice it a lot, and yeah, I just think the image is gonna convey the concept or the basic idea, or draw people in, make them get excited about the next thing. The title is gonna anchor it, and then it's just gonna remind me what to talk about. Yeah.
I totally agree. Nobody wants to be read to, and it's more exciting if you have less on a presentation like to a group like this. But when you start meeting with investors and VCs, you have to assume your deck is going to get passed around.
Yes.
And to people who didn't see the pitch, so I would tend to put a little bit more detail in that.
And this is another really great point. Like when somebody says send me your deck, you have to understand that word gets used a lot in employees. It's like this is a presentation you're giving on a stage. It's not we're not going to ask you to send this deck to anybody. So you can really tailor it towards being on a stage. If you're emailing somebody a deck, the first thing is most of the time when you're making a deck, even to present to investors, it's got all of extra detail. Really understanding, are you making this that you're going to stand there and present it the first time they see it, or are they going to read it without you the first time they see it? And it's extremely common that I see people create a deck that is intended for them to read it, and 90% of the time someone is for them to read it live with them, but 90% of the time the way it works out is they're sending it ahead of time and someone's reading it without them, which really kind of backfires if you didn't design it for that. Because if you're designing a deck to be read, it's got a lot more words on it, right? And a lot of fine print and a lot of other stuff because they're reading it, and you're not there to explain it, right? The title and the images do not work very well.
I would also
This
say,
is great
as
feedback.
you meet
TJ?
people, when you meet people after you do your presentation, they'll come up to you and say, I'm interested in and you want to be prepared with how you're going to exchange contact information, how you're going to remember who they are, and putting on my sales hat, you always want to create an excuse so that you can follow up with them and start that, right? A question, a follow-up, something. You're going to meet lots of people, especially at this crawl. You've got to have a little system down about how you're going to quickly exchange information, and then have a reminder about what you're going to follow up with them about, or it'll all be a big blur by the end of a couple months.
This is all great stuff. Any other crawl, South by Southwest or crawl feedback, suggestions from the mentors?
What if found mentors on, don't memorize the script, memorize talking points? If you do the script, you can find out,
questions from the teams before we move on? That was a lot more than usual. What's happening to this class? I'm like almost lecturing. Oh my god. All right. All right, so now we're going to jump into the normal things. So,
Oh wait, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Last week you had your friend was here from Microsoft.
Bakari.
Yes. And he mentioned that Microsoft has $150,000 credit available to everyone here, which completely blew my mind.
It's under your seat. Look under your seat.
And that just made me think, and that was news to one of the folks that I was meeting with. And I just want to make sure, is there anything else like that? Like, hey,
Yeah,
that
okay,
program
so-
sounds insane.
Yeah, totally.
What else is out
So,
there?
so I believe we have a $5,000 credit. Like honestly, like it's just these things kind of like change every year a little bit.
Okay.
Like and they change their policies around them. But really, the short answer for the cloud credit stuff for all of them is none of what you're spending matters at all to them. So their whole focus is they just want to find you now and figure out who has the potential to be big or real. And they're just drug dealers. They'll just give it to you as much as you want for free. And actually, the best way to get more credits is to use your credits really fast.
Okay.
Like seriously, the best thing you do is like, I think give you $5 grand for credits, use them all, and go back and be like, holy shit, I used all the credits. Can I have more? And they're like, serious, and like, if you didn't just like blow them, but if you like use them really doing stuff, like they're gonna get excited and be like, oh crap, like you're really doing stuff. Crap, you get more credits. Like like right, like that is so like when they're saying they'll give 100, like now they want to get everybody, like and that's part of like they like, and that's where they might go back and forth between like, all right, we give everybody $5 grand worth of credits. So like, all right, we're only gonna give like people that we vet 150 grand worth of credits. So really, they just want to know who's real, and they actually like from your perspective want to give you unlimited free credits. And so and yeah, one of the great things we get to do is we're one of the ways they try to figure out who's real. We are in various different ways. It's like our funnel of.
It sounds like a mini fundraising exercise you go through.
Oh yeah.
A lot of tests, but this, I don't know, people, that's a lot of money that is
That you have to
available.
spend.
I don't know what you're thinking about in your first raises, but 150 is a good investor. If you're going for angels or whatever in your early games,
Yeah.
that's real.
And if you could like run some kind of like open source AI model, it's almost like you just got employees, right?
Yeah. Which
All right.
he's like, we are open AI, so just come to us and the rest of the AI
Yeah.
for free.
All right, good stuff. I want to get into our normal things, but that's great. You'll expect to get much more information today and tomorrow about pitches, about how they'll be graded, about what examples look like, so you can start practicing. Because there's not very many things you can do in that class. And again, it's actually, not trying to make it rocket science. It's not like everybody can get a good grade, but you got to go follow the instructions and do what we're going to tell you to do. So like that. All right. Guest mentor intros. We've only got one, but he's worth it. Come on up here, Robert. You've done this before, right?
Yes.
I thought you had. Okay, good. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm letting you pull the audible. But Robert has been in the class before. He's a serial entrepreneur here in town, and when I first got here in 1999, and there was no capital factory, and like there's not much. There's one VC, it was Austin Ventures, and there was one like incubator like place, and it was ATI, the Austin Technology Incubator, and Robert was like, he was like one of the most successful entrepreneurs hanging out there. Like, it was like, there's not that many people that like built a company and sold it and done something. And he was like coming back for a second tour. So that's how I met. That's how I remember him. Since he hasn't really done much since then. No, I'm just kidding. He's done. We invested in his company I think twice since then. And he's always off on some other cool things. So here's your quick little intro, and it's what you're famous for is like tell your story of like what you've kind of done. And you've still only got 90 seconds, so you have to do it really fast. And then that's just so they know, how you might play, how you might want to help. And then, as you might remember, then they're going to get up and do pitches and intros, and you want to look for like 2 or 3 you want to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Robert Reeves. I started my first startup Furnace because I had to. I was compelled because I didn't want to wake up and be in my 50s, where I am now, and look in the mirror and regret not doing it. It is a terrible way to make money. So if you're doing a startup because you want to make a lot of money, don't do that. Do the other thing, right? But if you feel that you have something to offer, you want to challenge yourself, startup's the way to do it. You're going to stretch yourself, you're going to grow, you're going to do amazing things, you're going to do stuff that you had no idea it was possible because you had to. So one of the things I got good at with my startups was go to market, selling, pitching, getting money either from venture capitalists or even better, customers, non-dilutive. That's the way to go. So one of the things that I can help out with is sales model, what your go-to-market strategy is, how you're going to grow your customer, where is your beachhead, are you spread crossing the chasm, what's your Normandy? We'll talk about that. But I think I can help out there, but I am a technologist by heart. I bleed open source. I think it is how we democratize technology. But it's also a good way to build a business. So my second company, Liquibase, is based on an open source DevOps for the database tool, and we commercialize it. Very successful company, throwing off cash, they're doing well. What I'm excited about is most recently with the announcement of DeepSeek coming out and being able to be on par with ChatGPT. They did it cheaper, faster, somewhat better, and they did it with open source. I think the value here, the lesson that teaches us is that scarcity brings clarity. And guess what? Y'all have a whole lot of scarcity. So I imagine a lot of clarity is going to come from that. That allows you to make decisions based on limited resources because you only have so many things that you can do with your startup. You have to be focused. Another thing I like to say is that startups die of gluttony, not starvation. They lose focus. They try to do too much. So if you're able to focus and hone in on one thing until it stops working and you do the other thing, I think you'll be successful. Pretty excited about that stuff. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you very much. All right. Is this still on for next week? That's right. Okay. I was lying last week. But this next week, this is who we got signed up. As usual, stellar group. We got our most recent past mayor, Steve Adler, also pretty active investor. John O'Grady, who runs innovation and military partnerships for Raytheon, one of the biggest defense contractors, missiles and rockets, radar, and all kinds of stuff. Jason Karp, I mentioned before, I think he had to reschedule. He was a financial trader, got really focused on health, improved his health through diet quite a bit. He's having some problems, doctors told him could be fixed, and he just fixed it through diet. Then he founded a Brew Kitchen, which makes really healthy chocolate. And then he now, since then, I don't think he founded it, but he owns True Food, which is a really great restaurant chain, and is an investor in lots of other food stuff, and things like that. And so he'll be coming in. He's great. He's really great. I love him. Awesome friend. Andy Trebot mentioned also before, he founded Ride Austin. Just one of the things, just none of you probably know, but some of the mentors would know. Amazing entrepreneur, really kind of in the private equity realm. He goes and buys companies and then helps them, puts a playbook on them and grows them and sells them for more money. Kind of plays Monopoly with big stuff. And then Carrie Waters is an incredible entrepreneur, angel investor, innovator. She most recently helped stand up the innovation group at the University of Austin. When I met her, she was launching a cryptocurrency game where you built virtual real estate on the moon, called Million on Mars. And she's introduced us to tons of other really great startups that she's working with. One in particular, I don't know if you've met yet, did Sam from Quake come in? I don't think so. Sam from Quake. Sam's amazing, but his company is it's a virtual reality or augmented reality helmet headset for firefighters. So as they're walking through a fire in the dark, in the smoke, they can identify people and just actually the way out to get back the way they came, which is super important. So really, really cool. And so she's working with all kinds of awesome deep tech stuff. So that's our group for next week. Really looking forward to it. And now we can jump into your company updates. We'll go on this side again.
Hey guys, my name is Sharon, and I'm one of the co-founders of Internest. So this past summer, I was interning in San Francisco at Disney, and I realized that there was no way I could find proper housing, proper roommates, or a community in this new city I've never been to before. It was really hard, and it was just really difficult to really just get immersed in this new area. So I was talking to a friend at Disney, and he mentioned that he was using Internest, and it helped him find a brand new home in this new city for 3 months, and his new best friend, which is his roommate. So confused. How can you find all these people and all these amazing homes so quickly? I had to scour a bunch of different websites, a bunch of different areas, just to find a half budget area for me to live in that was really far from where I was working. So I jumped on Internest, and I was able to find, for this summer, proper roommates, proper housing, and everything in between for where I'm interning. So if you guys are interning anywhere in a new city for this summer, ask is that you jump on Internest, create a profile. It's internest.net. We're also doing subleases right now, so you can sublease your own place out for the summer, and we'll be able to match you with other interns in the area, allowing you to find trustable people to sublease your place to, because we know that they have a strong source of income. What did we accomplish last week? The biggest thing is that we had our YC interview on Friday. We haven't heard back yet, so not a good sign. But they did email us back Friday night at 1 a.m. asking us for some more information, which we gave them, but holding on to hope. But
What time did you send it for that?
we sent it, yeah. We didn't know if it was like a test or something.
Yeah, they did like way down.
Yeah. This upcoming week, we plan on talking to more apartments, trying to get the subleasing portion of Internest out to where other students can sublease their place out. We deployed our site, and we've been working on fixing up bugs, and we have the messaging feature out now completely. So yeah, that's Internest.
Hey everyone, my name is Akila Shvitla, and I'm the co-founder of Clipstack. Let's meet Nick. Our gaming news grew with over 10 million subscribers and one of our closest collaborators. As we build Clipstack, we are working closely with Nick to identify and understand the common challenges that creators working with face. For Nick, what started off as a passion project from recording, editing, and uploading has immediately turned into a wintertime nightmare. With an expanding team, scattered files, and endless revision cycles, Nick is spending more time managing these inefficiencies than actually producing high-quality content. So in an attempt to stay organized, Nick juggles multiple platforms like Google Drive, Discord, Notion, ClickUp, and so on. But switching between these systems only adding more friction to the entire process. That's where Clipstack comes in. Clipstack centralizes the entire production workflow from ideation to publishing, eliminating the friction so creators like Nick can scale seamlessly. With Clipstack, Nick's team can collaborate effortlessly within one workspace, keeping tasks organized and enabling the production to run smoothly. No more juggling, no more inefficiencies, just creating high quality content. So that's Clipstack. And what did we accomplish last week? So last week we were able to complete our user authentication. Everything is working very seamlessly. That's like our first end-to-end connections. What we're doing this week is we're going to integrate more features together. We have all of our backend and our front kind of laid out, but we're just still integrating things together right now. And we have also scheduled another meeting with Nick just to discuss some more things, give him some more updates, and just to understand where else we can improve. And what we need help with, I think the main help is as we're getting closer to our pitch, we still need to establish
million professional CAD users in the world. I used to be one of those at Apple. People like me, we log into CAD first thing in the morning before we even open our emails. And we end up going to CAD like multiple times during the day, mainly for like repetitive, mundane things like how much is the surface area of a part that already exists in CAD. So I kind of wanted to take my job and do something about this. And that's why I co-founded, built the Films Act. And we're doing this CAD agent that sits on top of CAD that helps hardware engineers automate the most repetitive tasks. We've been pairing up with medical devices companies because they do these even more frequently than other companies. Some engineers, some of our customers say they spend more than 50% of their time going back and documenting things that exist in CAD. So what we did last week was kind of went wider, starting with what we had, kind of went wide and asked people like what are the most repetitive things that you do. And it seems like we are signing up a new customer in the next few weeks as a design partner. We also kind of stopped just doing LinkedIn outreach and asked our network for warm intros, and that's actually working a lot better for us. Since we're going full time starting this Monday, we also went to UT Austin, met a bunch of professors, and kind of decided that we should do that in more colleges. They're very open to helping students. So we're going to reach out to more universities and get warm intros that way. We're also going to reach out to a lot of you for warm intros, so thanks in advance for the help.
You did a great job with the story.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was really good.
Hi everyone, I'm Ivy. I'm an international student since high school, and I had a host family with me throughout high school. They're from Spain, and this one time they asked me if they wanted to try my homemade Chinese dishes, and I was so excited to share some of my favorite dishes with them. So when I was starting to plan my cooking, I realized they're missing like literally all of the seasonings that I needed. No star anise, no seasoned peppercorn. So we had to make a trip to the grocery store. And what should have been a quick trip turned into a scavenger hunt. We went through so many different aisles, picked up bottles of spices and seasonings, and by the time we went to the checkout, our cart was full of ingredients that I know they would never touch again. And as I talked to more people, I realized I was not alone. There are many people who want to try global cuisine, new dishes, new cuisine, but the process of knowing the right spices, buying them, and knowing all the right steps are just so overwhelming. So is there a better way for people to be able to explore what they want to cook with the least amount of hassle? And this is why I made Spiceful. All the different spices that you would need for this one dish are all selected and packed in the blister bubbles that are ready to pop out into your pot. In just the right amount. No waste, no hassle. With simple instructions on the back, it removes all the guesswork out of cooking, making sure every single dish you make is with the best flavor while taking the least amount of time. So last time I visited my host family, I brought this with me again. This is all I brought, and I was able to make some Sichuan stir fry. And it was such a meaningful experience to share something that's so meaningful and authentic to me. And Spiceable brings the global flavor to your fingertips. Other than Chinese dishes, to Indian butter chicken, Jamaican jerk chicken, Thai coconut curry, you name it. To explore global cuisine with the least amount of hassle with Spiceable.
True.
For last week, I worked on mostly preparing for the showcase that's coming up for this Saturday, which is a TED and UT Austin showcase. I've been making more units of products and working on strategies to engage with the audience, and also working on different strategies of gathering their information and feedback. Also had this great networking event, connected with different people. And for next week, I'm going to finish up on the preparation works for the showcase. And I guess my ask is if anyone has advice on how to best engage with the audience and what's the best way to, have their contact information and maybe ask for their reviews. And the showcase is going to be at Texas Union Ballroom on UT Austin campus this Saturday at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I will have my booth, have my products ready to sell. So if you're free, please come check out. Thank you.
Your story also was even better than before too. That was really good.
What's the showcase?
It's the TED UT Austin. We have like TED speakers coming, and we also have a showcase for startups.
Hey there. A lot of startups in the room. I'm pretty sure all of you guys want to raise. Now, when you get to that point, hopefully you will, but when you do get to that point, how long will it take for you to go from your pitch deck to actually getting that money into your bank account? I'd estimate 3 months. If you're lucky, maybe 1 month. If you're unlucky, maybe 6 months. Now, it really does depend on how long whatever venture capital firm is taking to do their due diligence on all of your company documents. And for a startup, that can be very difficult. What even do these venture capital firms even need? What documents do they need to fundraise your company? And as a startup, you don't know what to do. And as a venture capital firm, you know all the documents you want, but it's really hard to get a startup to upload all the documents that you need into a data room. And so now I might ask, what is a data room? It's essentially a confidential Google Drive for all of your company documents. And the issue is that these data rooms, they're super inefficient. They take forever for you to go through all the documents, to get and extract information out of it, and then to compile that information to create a report or an analysis of the company that this VC or M&A firm is working with. And so, we're bringing Synopsys. I'm Will, and I'm the CEO and co-founder. And what we're doing is that we're 10xing the due diligence speed inside of these virtual data rooms. And how do we do that? We integrate agentic workflows directly into your data room. So what that means is that you will have AI agents being able to go through all these documents, extract information for you, and then create insights out of those documents. And so we create querying, tagging, and recently this week, we're working on really just pushing out our product to launch. So right now, this past week, we worked on really just being able to have a reliable backend system. So anyone can go in on our website, synopsys.ai. Think of that as synopsis, but with an F. Go in, create an account, upload your own documents, and you'll be able to, after maybe like a few hours of waiting, query through all of your documents and see what you can get out of it. And as our goals for next week, we want to make our uploading process much more fast, more seamless, and really just making the process flow a lot better. So what that means is reducing your upload latency from maybe hours to perhaps just 15 or 30 minutes. And right now, we're still working with reducing the latency for larger documents, but any smaller documents, if you can upload 5, 10-page documents, and we'll be able to extract all that information for you. And yeah, and for my ask, if you are interested in data rooms, go to our website, synopsys.ai. You can try it out. If you know anyone that uses data rooms, you can send that link to them or give them your contact name. Will at synopsys.ai. Thank you.
My name is Clint, and with over 380 million gamers a month, Roblox, which is like a YouTube for games where game developers can come and make money from their games, is now not only the fastest, it's growing, but also the largest gaming platform in the world. But what if I told you that despite Roblox having 2.5 million developers, that less than 1% of these developers are actually making any money from their games, not because of lack of talent or oversaturation, but simply because these developers, despite having the technical skills to make great games, suffer and don't succeed on the platform because they lack business fundamentals needed to succeed when they launch your games, such as marketing or operations. That's why us at Young Bros, we help these developers invest in them and help launch their game by 1, giving funding in their game exchange for revenue share and equity in their game off launch. 2, to give these developers access to our ecosystem of influencers with millions of subscribers. And 3, we help these game developers sustain their games using live ops tactics and sustainability tactics such as brand marketing. Let's take Jacob for example. A young developer who we partnered with in the past, Jacob struggled to get his game through despite it being, in his words, one of the best fighting games on the platform. After we worked with Jacob, providing him funding, as well as boosted his marketing using our knowledge on the platform's algorithm and our influencers, Jacob's game became one of the top fighting games on the platform, quickly selling to a largest video for over $500,000, despite it just taking $15,000 from it. Jacob, using the money, was able to become a full-time game developer and pay off college completely. And us, we made over 50 times how much we invested in under 1 month. To date, we have 2 games in the pipeline and only 4 games launched, but we have an annual revenue of $100,000 with profit margins from 60 to 80%. And with your help us turn these developers' games into businesses. Thank you. What did we accomplish last week? So we're still in talks with Roblox China over maybe helping them with some clients. And for the games that we have in the pipeline, one game is about to be launched hopefully before spring break. So we're starting the countdown campaign for that. And what do you want to accomplish next week? We want to start the countdown campaign for that game and hopefully get it out before spring break. We're also trying to build a built-in service to better help connect contractors and developers. So that's what we're trying to like find out what we would need to make that and how that can be done, as well as build talk to about kind of like back and forth so we can like kind of do the process. That's pretty much all. And any help, if you know anybody inside the game development field or doing anything in terms of crypto or game development in general, that would be a great connect.
Hey, I'm Henry, the CTO of Scraps. Let me tell you about Cashew, a house music producer me and my co-founder spoke with last time. Cashew is still on the rise. He's got 200K monthly listeners, but he's definitely made a name for himself. And when we asked Cashew which of his tracks were his favorite, his answer was surprised us. He said that all of the songs that he was most proud of had actually never been released. Either his label passed on them, they didn't quite fit his audience, or they were just too experimental. He actually told us that he's got hundreds of fully finished tracks just sitting on his hard drive. And it turns out that Cashew isn't alone. For every released track, there are 2 to 3 fully finished tracks that will never see the light of day. At Scraps, we're working to give these tracks a second life. We built a marketplace where artists can sell their unreleased music to other artists. Buyers can remix, rework, or simply release a track under their own name, and essentially turn this music into a valuable asset. So now, Cashew is monetizing his unreleased tracks on our platform, and big artists like Wookie and West End are following suit. So we've also expanded the platform to support other music assets, like project files, templates, visuals, and vocals. And in terms of traction, we've grown the marketplace to over 700 listings across 500 sellers. So this week, I focused on reaching out to content creators, basically trying to see if there's anyone that would work with us in terms of like a partnership. And so I had a meeting with AKO Music, who is one of the fastest growing music production channels on YouTube. He was very interested. So what we're going to do is kind of a trial run with him. He's going to do a promotional video, and if that goes well, we might explore like a longer term partnership that would involve some equity. So yeah, this week I want to iron out the details on that, get the script ready, and then in terms of what I could use help with. Anyone who's like really involved in South by Southwest, I think that's a big opportunity for me. There's gonna be a lot of artists there, so yeah, if there's anyone who's got their fingers involved in that, I'd love to chat.
Hello everyone, my name is Harrison and I'm CTO of Game Shows. So I spent most of my life playing video games, but I was never the best at the competitive ones. My co-founder knew this, so he invited me to watch some esport games, which are similar to traditional sports, except it's video games played instead. And while we were watching these games, he explained to me the decisions each player was making, how they typically played, and what impact they had on the game. As a viewer, it helped me get engaged, but as a player, it helped me get a really deep understanding of the game, and even helped me get to the top 20% of players. I got us thinking, the esport market is valued at about $2 billion with a predicted annual growth rate of 20%. Yet, we noticed that there was an abundance of data being reported and a lack of accessible analytics. This means that if any fan or professional team wanted to understand the underlying causes behind a player's performance, they would have to show up their own time and money. That's where GameTrix comes in. GameTrix is a esport data aggregation and analytics platform. We collect data from sources like GG to provide performance tracking, predictive modeling, and natural language interactions. Imagine just being able to ask, why am I losing on this side of the map? Or how is player X going to do against player Y? Whether it's scouting for the perfect player, predicting matchups, or recognizing habits, GameTrix can take it to the next level. So for what we did last week, we implemented a design system in order to get all of our pages consistent in design. And then we got through one of our meetings from a connection from our mentor. And then we also added more data to our machine learning models. What we're going to accomplish next week, we're going to implement the design into our actual code, into our components. We're going to continue scheduling meetings, and we're also going to continue to refine our models with more data and just fine-tuning the results out of those. For what we need help with, making more connections to esports teams and players is always good. And then you guys can visit gametrix.gg to sign up on our waitlist. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I never understood how imagining crowd making actually helps with public speaking, but Alright, hi everyone, my name is Justin. I'm working on Ducky. So currently, learning is still very difficult. Most students, every day, they'll go to difficult, long classes, and right afterwards, they'll forget almost 80%, even if they understood all of it. And this is a huge problem because right before an exam, the days before, we'll spend hours cramming, force memorizing, and just, studying what we already learned. Right after an exam, we'll forget everything again. And so we learn pretty poorly, and we forget everything, and the cycle repeats almost every year. And so we're building Ducky, which is an AI tutor that learns how you learn over time. How it works is you basically have a conversation with Ducky, and you just explain what you've learned in class. Ducky, as a byproduct, will create a database for you of everything you've learned, all explained in your own words. So exactly how you learned it, where you struggled, and how you excelled. And yeah, that's basically Ducky. Okay, what did we accomplish last week? We got into Antler residency for spring 2025. Thank you, Eric, for the introductions to Antler. We fixed some back-end stuff, our RAG system, and then also like file types. So that's really great. For next week, we're hoping to have handwritten notes possible as an upload file for Ducky, and then also matching our UI UX to our frames. That's really important. Also, I mentioned this last week, but I played blackjack professionally. I'm going to Vegas again this weekend because I had this booked a while back, so I can't really cancel it. I'll let you guys know how that works next week. But yeah, okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Vi, and I'm the co-founder of Touchdown. TJ, what time did you come here today?
At 4 o'clock.
And what time are you leaving?
6:01.
So by then, around 4 people will die due to a drunk driving accident, and that could have all been inevitable. According to the ACCA, there is a drunk driving accident every 36 minutes in the U.S., and these could have all been preventable. According to with breathalyzers and IIDs, yes, they're well institutionalized, but they're majority inaccessible nor inefficient due to their protein lungs when you have GERDs, diabetes, or even a common cold, or even if you're wearing a common fragrance. So what we're doing today is we're creating a dual sensor system that detects drivers' blood alcohol levels totally non-invasively with the use of a retina sensor and also a touchscreen sensor. That works counterintuitively to provide you a much more accurate VC level and also a quicker reading. We're focusing on licensing our product to fleet management, trucking companies, and also aviation as of right now, to lower their insurance costs and also prevent them from drunk driving and reduce the liability rates. Right now, we created a preliminary prototype that's around 70% accurate up in Boston, and we're seeking around 250K to fully develop our MVP and also our patents. So right now, as of last week, I didn't really necessarily accomplish that much because I had to go home just with some like family issues. But we've been focusing on situating what's like the main problem with breathalyzers and providing much accurate evidence. So we go to like whoever we need to talk to and say like, here's like what is wrong with breathalyzers, and here like what do they need to do to fix it, like why did it need to change this industry as a whole. And what we're doing this week, what we need help with is necessarily trying to do more market validation with more and more like high accountability industries. We have talked with the American Airlines team with the safety management, we'll see how that goes. But then, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Wu, and when I was young, I had a dream to cure cancer. Fast forward to last year, I began working in the infusion rooms. This is where cancer patients get their chemotherapy done. And I realized there was so much more to curing cancer than just giving you a drug or a treatment. Because there were so many problems in finding the 10 different specialists you need for your care, or managing all those side effects that affect your work, your personal life, and relationships. And so what hospitals do is that they recognize this, but they know that it's really hard to help patients with all these side effects. And that's why hospitals like MD Anderson are consistently ranked #1 in the US as the leading cancer care facility, because they house all of these services like lymphedema care, all those specialists, nutrition, exercise, anything you can think of under one roof, because they know it's important for the patient's health. But it's really expensive, and there are only 57 of these comprehensive care facilities in the US. And with 20 million people living with cancer, and the incidence rates of cancer is growing these past few years, addressing the fragmentation in the cancer care system has huge market potential. So at Panacea, what we're doing is that we're building this tool that can connect patients to resources outsourced by their community. And they listen, we listen to the cancer patients so they can talk to it, and they can say, I feel lonely, or I'm going through, it's really hard for me to take care of my children. And we connect them to a support group happening the next day, or a free childcare service that UT Austin provides. But the important thing is that we provide value directly to patients. And because we have this engaging app, patients are more likely to give their data to this app. And as a result, we have this data that tells you the patient's pain levels on a day-to-day level, their emotional states, all information that are valuable to doctors, hospitals, and pharma companies to send their clinical trials. So what we're doing is that we're trying to make cancer care more patient-centered by listening to the patients themselves. Okay, so last week we did a lot. So we talked to a bunch of CEOs and healthcare companies like MD Anderson was a big one, and they were really interested. They talked with me for an hour, and then also Ascension and Hospice Austin. But right now we really want to focus on fully fleshing out the product. We launched our pre-MVP. There's been a lot of changes to the App Store, and so I spent my whole weekend talking to the patients and fixing the bugs, but they're really excited about it. And so next week, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the legal stuff, so if anyone has help with finding a lawyer and establishing an entity, that would be helpful. And yeah, we're just going to be focusing on building the product. And we also launched our website, so that's cool. Yeah, so thank you.
All right, that was great. Keep getting better and better. I mentioned it, but some of those stories are really hard. They're still really hard. Even the ones that are really good still need more work. But they're definitely getting a lot better. All right, we're going to jump to the breakout tables as usual, and we'll have Robert as our guest mentor today. So once you can really focus in, again, I think about the pitches. Be asking your mentors for suggestions specifically about your pitch and what it looks like on stage, and about South by Southwest. And then we have guest mentors coming. We have a great group of guest mentors coming next week. Let's get to it. Thanks.
Just a quick announcement. I know after we tend to linger, but there's supposed to be something else in this room, so it needs to end at 6 exactly.
Yeah, and which does not mean you have to leave Capital Factory, but you can go up to the 16th floor, you can go to the 5th floor, we'll just have to clear up.
What are we gonna bring? What do we bring? We're gonna have everything done. You can design them on camera if you want. You want that responsibility? Sure. You know, I don't guess we need to bring a monitor, no, the laptop. Bring a monitor. Dude, actually, I'm going to hit and order that monitor. I gotta wait like 3 hours before I pick it up because it's so fucking bullshit. I feel like I'll bring my monitor too. Double demo. I want you guys to have the shit monitor. I want you guys to have what's your right now monitor? Right now it's 24-inch. I'm fucking, you bring all that. I'm guessing it's going to be brighter. He's the first one, right? Yeah. All this is I can bring my main, my current one. And I'll bring my monitor. What's your 1080p? 24 inch? Yeah, I think so. I think that's better than bringing all the way. Because it's really dark. Yeah, the screen's dark. So it's not good. It's not good for bright. Oh, let's search we'll probably see some videos. Okay, yeah. Oh my god. It's on 3. We're gonna have a pop-up banner. So, I'm running on for a literal response. That's it, right? Yeah. For example, big career path. Think about what those like. Exactly. Where there wasn't $100 homework. Tablets for sign-ups. Join our waitlist. Your iPad, I'll bring my iPad. Business cards, QR code, we'll put down QR code, and a link to our website. That's fine. I don't remember where I saw this, but I saw that someone's making a petition where YouTube has free printing. That's cool. I mean, we have free printing, that's not a plug to everybody. That's a plug. There is. I don't think they know. Wait, wasn't that TikTok where it's like we don't have free printing, we don't have free printing here? That's on that TikTok. And we do that. It's just not open to the public. I don't think they know that's why. Because they're probably not expecting. But also like you're getting right now. Allegedly, you're now one extension cord. This is for my ECS lab. One extension cord. There's only going to be one providing extension cord. One more. like if it's like a single like holder, I thought a standard coordinate like off the power strip. Oh, you don't think it's a power strip? It could possibly not be. Wait. I saw a power strip. I read it somewhere. Trust me, I saw it. I swear I saw it. I'm not crazy.
And for 35 Remember to bring your water. Bring my water. Business cards. Fast. It's a designer, buddy. But yeah, I mean, I think
and then we should run a shit lab. Simple interviews, that kind of things, whatever you want to say. Oh, I like that. That's tough, no? One I had like earlier. I like the space. I did feel like it was too close together. Yeah, I didn't know that was it. I thought that was just like that was something that I was looking around with the logos actually. There's more space apart and I put it together. And I kind of just didn't put it back. But I do fuck with big line spacing. Yes. Or like for logos, I feel like close line spacing or far line spacing makes it like shit. This font, I don't know about the font. The font's alright. The font's okay. That's like the one. That's like
It's actually not. Yeah.
that's tough. This one's no. How's that slot? You don't necessarily want to be like stick out this thing. Like this is a different moss, right? It's the exterior, but it doesn't stick out. It's like crazy. Oh, that's fucking tough. That's holy no, I'm judging now. That's crazy. That's crazy. After my hard work, after I worked so hard, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm really because you haven't even looked at the code base. You find out you haven't even looked at the code base. So you saw how I did it?
This ain't it? I'm fucked. Oh shit. This all works.
Yeah, I need to make that pretty.
This did not look like this.
Yeah, I know, I added it. Because you just had the date, but the date changes on depending on your time zone. And you use the time zone. Interesting. Bad gummy on. That's not how I hit it. Actually, there's probably no situation where I hit it. Yes.
Initially, I was going to do like.
You will see in the code base how I did it. Do it the same way. In OS, the principle is do whatever you're the same fucking way. One doesn't have one make sure things are reliable. The same way. Okay.
That's why
Not everything in one way.
That's why I made this. So we can add
This is like quite good. Okay. Go back to you need to make this look nice. And also, right now, thanks for system time zone, we do IP for time. I think we should do IP.
They're different? Yeah.
Yes.
What's the IP?
The system doesn't change based on where you're at. No, it doesn't.
I mean,
Accurate? Like if you fly to California, like you fly to California right now, is your time changing? I should have done that. Let me read it. But this changes based on system time. So maybe it's on a Mac situation, but in a Windows situation, it's not. So if you have a VPN, it doesn't give a fuck. Just looks at your system time. So this time will be probably I'll maybe set a time. But your task is making like maybe put some stuff over here, maybe or here or some shit. And then logos. I need to see a logo in the background or some shit here, like here. I don't see why you wouldn't. Logo should be in the logos didn't return with the map. Oh, it doesn't. I have them.
is it like under teams?
It should be in the teams database, yeah. Those are literally the alarm. The alarm.
Yeah, but so she like reached out to a bunch of schools that probably found it.
Yeah, the stats are there.
I really
You have a decent amount of players. No, I just wanted to know where it belongs. No, because your name's Gummy. Yeah. And I just said added the M on it at the end. I feel like that's like a common suffix, you know? It might be a Babylon. Yeah, some shit like that. It's our logo. Logging area? We'll have to wait 5 business days again for you to fucking add that change. Alright? You don't like
but also like,
What do we want on the card?
you definitely
we need this card to plus your name or email. And link to the website. I think QR code links to the website.
We could do your recorded link on the back.
Yeah. No, link to the Everybody said, hey, wow. Good to see you. How are you? I was looking around to see where I could go. Oh, we do that. There's that. Well, right, but is there something that I can do to help you out? Is there something that I said that, yeah, just, so we're at a stage where we're really trying to refine our go-to-market strategy. So I know you're talking about really that you've got that process now. It's like, we're in this industry, it's pretty like, it's kind of in a winter type of market right now. Like, so I'm wondering, like, how can I get to these, like, you're not an e-sport company. Right, but like, how can I use this companies like that I'm working? You are a service company. And as I understand from that, you provide services for people to help improve their game. You're offering game coaching, right? So how do the coaches do it? That's a golf pro. They showed up there. I coach this player for that's how you look at, you don't know what a long snapper is? Like in football? Yeah. Right, so it's very highly specialized role. And you come in for a punt. That's it. You're the center on punt. Another regular center. And there is a whole industry around this. Because it's very hard to get a small number of and there are coaches around it. And the way they sell it is that they've got a website that says, oh yeah, you're starting long snapper for the Philadelphia Eagles and just won the Super Bowl. That was us. So like, I was like, okay, although I don't think it's really so it's about testimony. It's about showing this person like here today. And but you're selling to not only the sport pros. Now look, I got a 14-year-old that plays like right now it's out. We are the first person just sitting on the couch like my games are Red Dead Redemption. I'm all about the show. And going and saying like, okay, you got is it Red
ready to rock and roll. When you could sign somebody up online. So when you're ready for that, it's to a point where it can be limp along. Like it helps you out, right?
What our college students to do, like his basic when I first started watching esports games, I had him explain how things work and stuff, and that's what we do. One case with our product, and to help other people.
Okay, so you don't have something. So right now, where are all the gamers going? That's right. But they're all hanging around. You can choose watching games. You're also watching Twitch. What about going in and breaking down some of these players? Restream something today on Twitch while you're commenting on it. So, some final is going on. Like, it helps you. You got to click it. And you're like, okay, yeah, we're playing this, sports, whatever. And we're looking at this and like, oh, see what he's doing here, and you're talking to him. So what you're trying to do is oh, and by the way, we're building a platform to automate this, and you're going to be able to do that. So it's giving something for free, or rather, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Give to get. So you want content, you want reviews, you want to be able to give them updates on your platform. So you're commenting on stuff, or maybe you put it up on YouTube. Figure out a way to get around, people doing strikes. Well, that's my thing. You can't string my work I don't know, whatever. I'm sure you don't work that out. But to be able to say that what you're trying to do is get interaction with people. You want people to join your Discord. You want people to sign up. You want them to get updates, follow us on whatever. Figure out your social media and you're giving updates. But you're also saying, hey, on Saturday, the big thing, we're going to break it down some of this stuff. Or, as you know, last week was blah, blah, blah. We wanted to highlight top 10, like some sports center level shit, where you're breaking down, like, okay, so this is, top 10 and not top 10. Like, you're putting in, interspersing, like, okay, this is play number 1, this is great, this is play number 1 that was shitty. And you're helping people learn from others. You're providing content, you're trying to drive them to the platform to get their content information. So as you develop this, you're building a relationship with them and you want to get as much data from them as possible about who they are, because those are your leads. When you do launch, you're going to launch and like, oh, I guess today, what next? Right? So you need to have up around talking to people about and getting their content and say, and what would you want? What else? You're also doing market validation. And so, hey, we're thinking about doing this useful. How should we implement it? And so you're starting conversations, you're providing content, information for them to get better for free. But you're reminding them that you have something later that they're going to be able to sign up for lessons, whatever. Does this make sense? Well, do not, old school software development waterfall. You've heard of that, right? That agile one thing, wait till it's the other way. Y'all are building the product, you need to build, and
So figuring out something that is CRM, you can start putting stuff in, being able to send emails, blast out text, advising content, or I don't know. You know, obviously, TikTok is something else. I'm not on social media. Literally, like mental health issues. I really spend enough time on Reddit. So whatever. So, you know, figuring that out, you start sharing what you're doing. A little bit. Don't do something really cool on the product. Hey, don't show you this stuff. Oh, this is going to help me do X, Y, Z. Tune in on Saturday when we break down whatever game. Or you can even go to you know, you can go to like the first Fortnite championship or whatever. You know, first esports and that. You go back to classic. Sports doesn't take much more. We go back to like show something in black and white. The greatest game. Yeah, but what you're trying to build is while you're building this product. You don't want to build a product and just like now what? Because why did you even rush and work so hard to get out the door? You don't have the next step. Don't take one step. You got to plan for the next step. Use that momentum. So last thing you want is to do it and then just like allows you to so you want to be able to turn this on, you want to see what hey, we just went live, or we're about to do open alpha. Y'all were true believers, y'all signed up early, so we're going to give you the first shot at this stuff. And we're giving you, and it's free for you. So, you know, until we have our so help us improve. And then with those folks, because you gave them free stuff, you're then going to kind of reach out to them and get quotes from them. Oh, I went from, you know, what are we still doing League of Legends? Valorant? Okay. So, you know, on Valorant, I went from bronze to silver 2, or I don't know what that is. But because I use games. And games that help me do this, really help me break down my play. And even better, we can get something to see. Yeah, I use games. I'm now a pro. Yeah. And so you wanna help people, but I think your target is really about people that just want to get better, like you know, the Sunday golfers that they will not points off their handicap. Okay. You know, also you want kids, so 14-year-olds say, "Mom, can I sign up for a subscription for this?" Well, how much is it? Well, it's $25 a month, or whatever the price point is. You know, and it's like, okay, sure. It's going to help you do better at this game. And it's going to little Susie's into it. Parents will do anything for so that's your target right there. We have our businesses like that, right? What are you? Pick one. Right now we're watching our PC for the right answer. Like just make sure we have that right off the ground. Yeah. And then eventually we're going to get to our B2B where we say dashboards for coaches, players, so they can see next 10 matchups. Okay. So it's like, okay, how are we going to do this as well as all the stuff because right now our sole like major majority of the business has not been from like traditional like players and fans and sports specialists. Like those people, that type of like domain, has been kind of built based on like their feedback. So I think that make a platform make that like customer feedback. Yeah, that's your platform. Your bettors want to get an inside advantage, and so as the experts in gaming, so one way you can have a way to start making money or impact on, to bring the gap of D2C is going to be shit. Yeah. Right. But you get to a point where there's better than Vegas folks, ironclad lock of the week. Yeah. Pay me $20 a week. My new sweater. But that's a known way out. And if you are able to buy a list of centers, you can blast it out and say, hey, we bet on these sports because we have our, blah, blah, blah. You can sign up for this stuff. We'll give you a free set of the week. Yeah, I'm looking at the odds here. And, Susie hits, Stephanie's all 3 times in a row, but Stephanie's on a tear. And we think that she's got momentum in her back and she's really improved. Don't see that from Susie. And the odds are really favorable.
I think nowadays, now we move off email list, now we can just sort of chat where now it's like everybody's names are public on the server, so you're able to like reach out and eventually like advertise.
Yeah, however that works, I'm still in stuff, and so, come on in, my friend.
TJ, how are you?
Robert Reeves.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks for coming tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Good your help. These are my guys.
Well, great choice. We were just talking about go-to-market strategy.
Yeah.
My suggestion was start getting content out.
Start what?
Get content out. So start getting on Twitch and start breaking down, the top 10 plays of last week in sports. And let me tell you why this was good. Now we're also going to do the not top 10.
Okay.
This is where they screwed up. Let me tell you right here, you should have zigged where you should have zagged. And the whole point is like...
Be careful when you're going out on the list. That's really funny though.
And then you're going to where they are, but you're building a brand. Like, look, we know it's building that list, and as they develop the product, it's like alpha and it's quality. You offer to those folks that subscribe, join the Discord server, or whatever. The first 100 that use this code of our, get invited to the alpha. And so you're motivating people, you see if you're going to get to one. Sense of urgency.
Right.
Scarcity. That's
cool.
So without knowing anything else about your business, that's where I was at. It's worth every penny you pay for it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sure you all can pay tuition.
How far away, or maybe you feel like you're there already, but do you feel like you're getting valuable content out of your analysis?
Right now it's like, it's not to the point where we're happy with like you're giving us the next step, but not
yeah.
But right now we're making strides in our
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And look me up on LinkedIn if you've got any questions.
Yeah, tell me about the insights. Is anything coming out that you guys are happy with, or are you still working on the...
Next Tuesday, we will be having class, but that Friday is the day you will all be participating in the startup crawl, and then the next Tuesday after that, we're going to go to South by Southwest as like a class to observe. Also, please fill out the attendance form. Thank you. That was all. Sorry to interrupt y'all.
I forgot to do this. I always forget to do that.
So for NMR, it's definitely it's a challenge on like so unless you get it right on the first try, which is like basically impossible, you have to keep doing it, trying that out. Like we have a bit of an edge just because we have like domain knowledge, right? That's like that's our main thing. So traditional data science, they're taking months and months on these types of problems because you have so many like data fields, so there's so much noise.
You've got like too much data?
So you have to be careful. What fields you use. Sometimes you might use an ensemble model, but that takes time. So right now we're in that stage where we're experimenting, seeing what's best and what's not working. That iteration process.
Yep.
But we're going to mainly look at our
like, I mean, it's just something, the most basic nugget of, like, here's something interesting that we're seeing and we're able to find. And then you could, we could talk it up. I'm just trying to think, like, how to, even if you're not there, that's okay. Like, how do you get, like, we've got this incredible data. We're seeing, here's some of the initial things we're seeing out there that are interesting value around. Basically, if you're not there yet, I think that's still okay. And you're saying, like, we have this amazing thing. I think you could back it up. We can talk about how to adjust. If you're not, that's okay. But something interesting and catchy, even if it's simple, would be better than maybe nothing. But if it is nothing, then I think there's still a story here, which is we have the data, we are looking, we're using advanced ML to find relationships in this data. By the way, story was great today. I meant to tell you that. It's just come like it's really good. That was a huge step in the right direction. I would think about writing it down. I wish I had recorded it. Like, you really, really have come a long way. Like, it is a real story. It's a story now. It's really interesting. Think about, like, the main points and making sure that all the main points are leading to the way to sort of get better on the next rev is probably to just write down the bullets and then make sure that what you're saying is connecting you to your end goal. What was still, I think, a little unclear is here's what we're going to do with it. Like, here's how it's going to make them better, or a coach better, or whatever that sort of end, aha moment is, the goal of the benefit. The benefit. Make sure that's really clear. Great job on, like, explaining. Sort of someone who was here who didn't play esports or know much about it, you, like, went a really long way towards explaining it. That's, like, a lot better. I was trying to think, like, on the next iteration, don't take this, I'm just thinking out loud, but, like, so if you're an esports player, here's how metrics is going to make you better. And if you're a coach, here's how it's going to make you better. And you're playing on a team, which it turns out in esports, really the meat of what's going on at the highest level are these teams that are playing together. And here's how it's going to make them better. To really sort of connect these insights to the benefit.
Why is our thing beneficial?
Yeah, not necessarily all of them, but making sure that you drive home at least one really clear use case to a clear benefit. If it's for all of them, that's great, but I would make sure there's at least one that becomes crystal clear. Yeah. Anyway, it was really good. My business partner, we were looking at, he was doing some stuff earlier when we were thinking about business ideas, and he had this reinforcement learning set up where it was essentially the AI, the use case that he was pointing at was the S&P 500. And he was trying to say, if I get access to all the available stock data that's out there, all the trades, stock prices for the past 10 years, and other kinds of market data that's available, sentiment, volumes, and all. There's a ton. It's a good area to experiment with because there's lots of data in it. What could the agent learn? Essentially, I'm not technical, but I thought it was an agent working on an agent, like agent on agent learning. If I'm understanding that right. You can tell me if I'm totally wrong. Yeah, and the agent would run scenarios and direct the other agent on what to do. Like, it would run millions of scenarios and tell the other agent, do this trade, do that trade, and see and run through them in kind of a blind test to see what the outcome was. And it would, so that's what it was learning. He gave the agent a library of statistical algorithms. There's like a lot of them are public. You know, there's the MIT one, and there's all these different versions, and it could elect to use whatever model it wanted to in doing these tests. And then it would say, okay, I now think that I want to apply this model, and it was proved itself that that's what it wanted to. Could an agent help you guys find these relevancies from all the data? That's was going to be my long-winded way of asking a question.
Yeah. So we were actually thinking about this last night when we were heading back in the office, right? So we were thinking, what if you could just ask, like we have since we have a search engine, what if we ask to generate email from a chart, right? And now grab the key statistics that you want, like, or you could ask a question and it would generate any relevant statistics with any visualization that could come on.
Oh, interesting.
Like discretion, right? So we think that definitely like you'd be able to take like data points that you'd be thinking of, or maybe data points that are connected to something that you're trying to get at. Like if you're trying to get at like maybe you have a general question like how does this player do against this player, and you have statistics that pull up maybe like a couple sentences of like explanations of the actual data of what you're seeing, and then like so maybe some visualizations, some pie charts, maybe some bar graphs, some line charts maybe as well, like depending on what the AI agent thinks is like obviously the best. And so we definitely think like AI agents definitely good for like drawing these lines between that in that sense.
Yeah.
Not in the statistical sense.
I see. Got it. Helping you identify, respond to questions of a user?
Yeah,
or actually finding
and grabbing the relevant data. And grabbing relevant data.
Got it. And maybe then serving it back to you in an understandable way. Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah. Full stop. Like that sounds interesting. To see what might could it find something like here are successful plays that have high percentage outcomes of success and what those look like? You know what I mean? Like here's kind of the best ways people are making plays successfully.
That's how you rank the AI agent. You have to make sure the AI agent is able to identify or like do anything that you want it to do. So that definitely is like your implementation now.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you? We're talking about getting to the nub of extracting a benefit, some data or insight that's a benefit, right? And they're still, I think, trying to get their head around how to get there or extract.
We're still in the process of iterating. Like,
okay.
Obviously, but right now, our main customer base, or like at least customer feedback loop, is mainly with sports bettors. So we're trying to gear our insights right now to them, to like our ML studies. So like maybe we accidentally found some stuff for like another use case. So like right now we're scrapping everything and like keeping that in the back of our heads, and just like doing that as our first customer base, making sure we get our first revenue.
Yeah.
So we have our end model in for next week, so we have it ready for startup crawl.
Oh, cool.
Also, I heard a big laugh from guys from him, and I would reiterate,
yeah, wasn't it good? Yeah, it was, like, big step forward. It was great. Yeah. Because, well, I guess you guys are, I don't know, I didn't think, like, coming up with a story was so easy and obvious, so I thought you guys did a good job.
Last week, we were talking to Ryan, and he brought up, like that we did, like, in our free time and stuff, and I brought up how, like, I first got introduced to esports because of him, and it actually helped me get, like, a lot better in Valorant, because he did so shit in the game. I was so shit, I was just like,
it was like 3 a.m., and I found out there was a game going on in like the Pacific region. I was like, okay, log off, we're watching this game.
Okay. Wait, so tell me more. Tell me more about this situation. Okay, so Harrison was interested in a game you were So we're playing here something, and he was new, but also terrible.
I wouldn't say he's new. I just say he's terrible.
Okay, all right.
He's experienced.
Or he's just plain terrible. Okay.
So I have to play on a lower account to like play with him, right? So I have to have a new account like play with lower rank.
Okay.
But the thing is, he just did like uncharacteristically bad. That was just like fundamentally he.
Oh. Fine, TJ. How are you? Good.
I also like you're relative to Microsoft. Like you say you reach out some trash. It's still like better than I like ever was back when I was. So I'm like, you're like top 1%. You're top like 10%. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I can do it too. So
you guys have to read
that's why. We're about to go down. So I was just like fundamentally. Log off, we're gonna watch the match, and I broke down every single round that they played. The way you're telling the story right now with us as it's so much more driven, right? And you told a great version of that, but you're even incorporating that even more. Telling this, it's funny, and it kind of drops the line. It's like, oh, cool, that's like a relatable thing. Boom. Yeah, so it was great the way you did it, and then also exactly how you're talking. So it's like, okay, conversation. That would be my only critique. It's like your picture there was like it felt rehearsed in a good way. Like you practiced it, so it was. Oh my! It's like I want to see robotic.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Okay. I can share you his card, and I wanted to catch up with you guys anyway. We can do it next week. It's not urgent.
Let me know. Not super soon.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I would hit 90 out of 100 so many times. Exactly. But here's the thing. After that night, in 1 month, I got from Silver 3 to Gold 3.
Okay, how? But wait, how?
From just like
any of this data?
Yeah, just me pointing out like aspects of having the coach over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, so some coaching. Okay, this is a good story. This story is even better. It's tighter. Like, how do you can you deliver data that will coach?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? Like,
that's the whole point.
We're finding out why players do what they do, and we're giving that to them why they do that.
So it's going to make you better,
yeah,
right? So I would work on really. First of all, it's also not just okay to be funny. Like if you can be funny, it is great, and it makes it way more memorable on your pitch. And you know, just when you started, so your level of excitement when you just started talking about this situation was like 10x, and it makes it way more contagious and fun. You know, and like people understand, like, oh my God, these guys are like really onto something cool. Like people are passionate about it. See what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you were talking like conversationally, and it's funny to both of us.
Immediately, yeah. Yeah, so think more around that. Like, I don't know, I love that as like a way to like get people like, oh my God, you know. And you have to, depending on who's pitching, you're gonna be on different ends of it, but still it's a mirror image, so it's still funny, and it'll be like, God, I was really, you know, I was really struggling. I can't believe my partner even, you know, continued with me. But then he started showing me some things, and out of what I was doing and coaching me along, and I got so much better. And here's how we want to help people do that.
And in so many ways, when he was coaching me, I got so much better. Then I started watching some of the pro games, and that's what we're building here. You'll get some pro, I know, like or whatever.
There you go. Yeah. This is going to be tight. This is a great story. That's I don't know. I think that's it.
But then that also ties into the question we were just talking about. So like we've seen some interest from gambling markets. You've kind of seen like this data could be used probably similar but different products to build, like you know, like analytics functionality. Like if this one is more coaching and like probably needs more real time. Especially if you're a coach, you kind of don't really care if your person goes over like 12 kills. If you're a sports gambler, you know, you kind of care if they go over 12 kills. Yeah, because there's a line at which you get paid out. Yeah, this is the coaches. So they're difference of like, so you might be able to like make a statistic of like, or a statistic on like performance, but performance doesn't really indicate like, hey, is this guy gonna go to 12 kills? Good performance might be 6 kills. Yeah. There's performance versus like predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is what
the sports lines in Vegas is using football performance analytics.
Oh yeah, I was totally thinking about.
There's a Venn diagram. There's obviously coaches and things that inherently what makes I'm trying to bet. So that it's different. Betting the line, like the coach is just betting I want my team to win because that's who he's coaching. He's not betting I want us to win by 4 points because so that's good. So but either way, so like if you're seeing more interest from the Daylight side, I think the most accessible place for all the spaces are still dangerous. Pitch, you can
Right.
because you're like, we realize there's no analytics for any of this. That's what we started building. Then we realized the greatest pain point. Oh, that's when we realized the greatest pain point was for game markets. That's why we're building this. Alright, thanks. So it's like, you can use the story to whichever way you're going. And that's what I was kind of asking, where I was going with that asking. It's like, it sounds like the gambling side, there's like a Venn diagram of what's interesting to both, right? So like the coaches want to make my team better versus the gambling analytics is like, I want to be able to predict if they're going to go up 4 points, the spread or whatever.
I see. Okay.
So I was saying, like, I think their story and narrative, pitch can be spun either way. Like, you could work it into that because you're like, oh yeah, we started learning, and then we started building it, and then we realized, oh, there's a bigger pain point over here on the status side. You can adjust the pitch. I was curious from your perspective, so you feel like more accessible and like greater pain point feeling though, and like seeing it from your discussions more on more analytics side.
Yeah. So question: do you tell me more about your thinking? Your first customer base is the gambling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Then I would just make sure. But did you want to talk about it that way?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's tough to talk about like as that's the target market.
Not really.
That's why I said really 5 minutes. You felt this pain point. You started getting better.
Yeah.
Realize you haven't already sports world. Also, people are gambling all the time.
Yeah.
But also, y'all having a conversation and see these sports teams. I know you were gonna. No, like tier 1 teams being
right.
And that's where we're starting our features for our B2B. So we have some additional things for like they're really interested on scout reports because especially at the collegiate level, scout reports we don't have scout reports at the collegiate level because everyone's busy doing like homework or exams or whatever. So like that's basically like non-existent. It's like even that sounds like actually potentially very interesting first for y'all. That's probably not your $100 million business, but just like getting customers getting their foot in the door. And also that doesn't need real time feedback either. It's just like y'all have the data, you produce some of these reports. That could be the most MVP of MVP.
True.
A shitty report and you're like, hey, this sports it's like $50 or this
that's exactly what I was going to say. Is like if that is your target, then you want to start meeting these people. And the key question, the whole reason you do is because you think they'll pay for it, right? So you want to make sure that they'll pay for it. Start talking to them to understand that.
And you can produce like a teaser of either a scouting report that's general or it's scouting report per player. I don't know how you're thinking about it, but like do a couple teasers, have those conversations like, hey, this interesting. Like, oh shit, oh yeah, it is. Then like, would you pay us $10 a month and we'll send you to a week? Because like on your end, you're like, Daddy, you probably use AI to generate that report to a week. They're easy, infinitely scalable. Just thinking about like a very easy, like if that's just like revenue, right? Just to get customer appetite or whatever. And then you can go that maybe I'm misguided, maybe I should build something. But that was just a thought that came to mind.
No, I think you want to know what. Will they tell you what they would pay for? They won't. Gamblers won't.
The gamblers won't.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Students wouldn't tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, man, they probably don't pay for pizza or anything like that, you know?
I was thinking you weren't selling to the students. I was thinking you're selling to like UTZ sports teams or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are funny, but that's okay. Have you had any more follow-ups with the student players, or anybody? Have you talked to anybody else in terms of research?
It was great. Yeah, did he have he's cool. Did he have anything to offer? Yeah, connections? He said Frank, he's gonna talk to Frank, the co-CEO, girl who's at he has some connections with now. Probably related to it. Yeah, they basically decentralized the service and they vote on it. They're funded by all the holdings go on like, hey, do we want to acquire this player for this team or whatever? He's gonna do some content. He knows this player. He won the international Very cool. It sounds like one of the connections I made them. Yeah, hopefully something fruitful.
Do you guys have a clear target for what you want to get done this coming year?
Yeah, the MVP, Aaron Business Cards done, Gavin ready for Startup Crawl.
That Startup Crawl does sound like the right.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah,
I think that's a good goal, obviously, and also a good forcing function. Like this week, I'll be like, all right, let's go.
Right. And try to make sure, getting ready for the crawl, how are you going to exchange information with people? Like really easily and follow up. Like, what do you need? How are you going to get that information? Because you're going to meet so many people, and you're going to meet some that are great, but you're going to quickly forget unless you have some way to give yourself some guidance or something.
I want to give you that one. I don't know if you've kind of heard these since you're adding people to your waitlist, I don't have one little laptop on your booth.
Put you on the waitlist.
Toss your name on the waitlist.
Oh, that's cool.
Thinking about that seamlessness, because it's funny, I feel like I've come full circle. I was like, oh man, LinkedIn, they have all this technology. Now I go to startup stuff all the time. I'm going to conferences and pitch events. I haven't printed them yet. I literally want a business card because you leave your phone out, you touch your phones together, so it's the same thing. You scan someone's LinkedIn, it's like, fucking get it.
And if you pen in a business card, you can just put a note on the back of it, and that's how I used to do it at conferences. And that's very old school, but it works.
No, that's I've come completely old school.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks LinkedIn is seamless, but it's not. I'm like, pull out, scan, and it's a whole. Anyway, y'all should have a seamless way to connect with y'all, and maybe that is like. It doesn't have to be business cards if you don't want, but like, if you have a social media handle for connections, that should be brand name of your page, somebody can follow you on Twitter, or just like whatever's lower that friction, and the friction to follow up.
Okay.
Well, if y'all need anything from us, I think you have our contact. Let me know.
Great catch up. Good job, guys. All right, take care. I'm going to the San Diego home opener. My roommate's team he's launching the SDFC. My college roommate he's a founder of the San Diego Football Club. So we're going to that game in San Diego on Friday. I'm gonna keep picking his brain on how they're using data. And they're big on I think I told you this on Catapult. They called it critical tech. But I don't know exactly what's coming out of it or how they're using it, but I'm trying to keep poking around. Thank you so much. Yeah, sure. All right, see you.
How much do those labels cost you yourself? I'll do over half of it. And if it turns out actually those labels only cost $1,000, it's just like, well, why would okay, I'm gonna go down. Thank y'all. Right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Oh, I'm Ubering this time. My wife's car's in the shop, so she gave me a ride down here. Thank you, though. And I remembered my attendance. I totally forgot.
Yes, that's great. It was really good. Awesome. Really, it was great. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think this